This light a little too much. There we go. I think that's better. JLD Fishing, what's going on? Chuck Smith, hello all from Florida. Welcome, Chuck. Hope it all is going well out that way. Give a little bit for everyone to kind of file in. Crappie Express, what's going on, man? Hello all from world famous Lake Louisville. You got that right, man. World famous. Good old Louisville. Slab Buster, there he is. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Y'all ignore my crazy hair. I don't know what's going on right here. It just looks like I was in a windstorm. Hope everyone had a great Monday. I think today is Monday, I believe. Give a little bit for everyone to kind of trickle in, and we can get going this evening. Don't have a lot to talk about today, but I did want to kind of touch base. It had been a while since I went live, and I kind of wanted just to see how everyone was doing, check in a little bit. But y'all hear some noise. My wife is in the other room with the two boys and all the birds, and so if y'all hear some noises, it's out there. It's not in here. Slab Buster says, turn winter over here over the weekend finally. Now wind blows every day. Yeah, man, it's been cold over here too. It's been raining. It rained again today. Unfortunately, man, it just keeps raining. And it's not enough rain to really help anything. I mean, honestly, it might come up an inch or two, but it'll come right back down with evaporation and then pulling some water. But it's that pattern where it's every couple of days, and that is the worst when it comes to this creek deal. So I missed something. Amia Powell, hey, thanks for being here. Steve, thanks for being here. Hey, everyone from Sanger, Texas, thanks so much for being here. Crop Express, can't wait to hear where the crappie are biting and how everyone is catching them. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Still some 80-degree weather in Florida, says Chuck. Man, y'all are lucky down there. Hope that last hurricane didn't affect you, Chuck. I forgot where you said what part of Florida you're in. I'm gonna go up and look. It won't let me go up any further. South Carolina here, says Amia. Thanks so much for being here. Slab Buster. So I was actually out on the water yesterday for a little bit, and the water is 60 degrees here, Slab. And that was in the morning. I would assume it's kind of went down. It's been in the 40s, low 40s all day, and been raining most of the day here. So I would assume it's went down a little bit since yesterday, but it's pretty chilly. Pretty chilly for sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started talking, everyone. So about the same here. 62, says Slab Buster. Yeah, it was 62 yesterday in the afternoon when I left. So it was the bite that I found yesterday. It wasn't very good. And it's not gonna get any better. It's gonna get worse out there. So the winter is setting in. It's setting in. Once that water gets in the 50s, these fish really start moving toward their winter spots. The water here in Texas, North Texas, it'll get in the 40s every now and then. I've even seen it in the 30s before, but typically like mid 50s is winter. Mid 50-degree water temp is winter here. So yeah, it's getting to that point. That's where we're at, and these fish are starting to leave all the stuff they had been on, and they're just moving out to that deeper water. or they're trying to go in. I know there's some in the creeks. I'll elaborate on that a little later. There's definitely fish in the creeks, but the problem is the water is chocolate milk, you guys, and some of these creeks are flowing, and just the water's nasty. And I just know, based on experience, that's just not very productive. PW Harris, so the creek's gonna be slow the day after all that cold rain, man. PW, it depends on the creek, but I know the creeks over here, it's going to be at least another week or so. I mean, for me to make it worth my time to go look, it's going to take another week at least, I would think. Another solid week of no rain, and that's the thing. It just has to stop raining, PW. That rain today, I don't think it really helped that much level-wise. I mean, I think it just muddied that water back up, and just going to take some time to get back right. As soon as it clears, though, these fish will bite really good in there. As soon as it clears. With these water temp or these air temps that we've been having, excuse me, they're definitely moving in, and they're probably already in there, but that water being muddy just shuts them down every single time. Slab says he bets it's lower here. Yeah, I bet it is. Y'all probably gonna get some of that rain out that way later this week, tomorrow probably, I would bet, because all our rain moves out that way, it seems like. Slab. Chuck said we had no damage. We are in the middle of Florida, Polk County. Okay, I'm glad y'all had no damage out that way. That was really, really late for a hurricane to come through there. Mia Powell says they are thick in the creeks here. The big creeks coming off the lake. They're deep though. Yep, that's kind of how it is here too. We just had so much rain, it just really hasn't materialized. And like I said, you guys, y'all just bear with me. If y'all could follow me on Facebook, Kid Crappie, just the same way it's spelled on the channel. Facebook, Instagram. I really am trying to post more on those pages. Excuse me. I want to grow those two pages, and so I'm posting updates on there. I'm trying to post like multiple times a week with different content, and so if y'all go over there and like that or follow that, that really helps me out. And that way you get more updates too. I don't update, obviously I don't update every day on YouTube. So I update every day for the most part, or every other day on those two platforms. And Amia says, I caught a couple shallow beginning of last month around the stumps. Yeah, they'll get real shallow, Amia, especially here in Texas. They'll get, a foot deep. Slab says he wishes that wind would go away. It's supposed to start raining tonight, matter of fact. Yep, I figured it'd be going that way. The wind, I mean, it's been blowing over here pretty good, but, I mean, once I get in the creeks, the wind doesn't bother me, so. But that's, that's definitely part of it, is that rain, right? Or that wind and the rain. That weather, that's why I spend so much time in the creeks, is that weather, really can get to going crazy on you this time of year, and getting in those creeks, you can kind of get out of it a little better. Pescando con Roger, thanks so much, Roger, for being here. Appreciate it. I'm sorry I missed your live the other day, buddy. Just with the new baby, it's just been hectic. That's probably why my hair looks like this. Thanks so much, Roger. I appreciate it, buddy. Chuck says, yeah, I was late for a hurricane. We had 4 inches of rain. Nice. That's a lot of rain. It is a lot of rain. And that's kind of where I'm at over here, is if it would rain good, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches, even more probably. If it would rain that much and fill these lakes up, I'd be fine with it. But it's like rains, lakes come up an inch or two, muddies everything up, and then just sets us back. And then here in a couple days, that water's gone. So it doesn't do us any good, unfortunately. Slab says he almost ran his trolling motor batteries down Saturday. Oh, no, man. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen, buddy. Fishing with Fredo. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm still waiting on some videos, Fredo. Raul Mendez, thanks for being here, man. What's the dates on that new B&M? Been waiting for a video. Man, Hugo, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually just edited it today. I'm going to probably put it out tomorrow. That's what I'm looking at, Hugo's putting it out tomorrow. And y'all know me, I don't push any product if I don't really believe in it. And this is one of those products that's just I really do enjoy. I really like what they sent me. So definitely check it out. Y'all won't be disappointed. And it's a 10 footer too. It's a little longer rod than I'm used to, and I really liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it, honestly. Crop Express, Fredo, where'd you go yesterday with the boat? Slab Buster need lithium batteries. Yeah, man, those lithium batteries are expensive. I hear you, Fredo. I hear you, man. There's some days when I'm the same way, man. It's just tough and it's a grind sometimes, man. Chuck Smith says, Lake with Ian, my lake came up in my yard 40 to 50 foot. Alligators were sleeping on my dock. Wow, man. That's crazy. That's a pretty good, those lakes out there I don't think rise as much as they do here. Our lakes fluctuate big time. Steve says, do you think the creek fishing will be any good Thanksgiving week? Steve, if it doesn't rain, it will be. So my theory is if it stops raining right now, if it doesn't rain anymore the rest of the week, next week, and it doesn't rain, assuming it doesn't rain anymore from this point, next week should be all right in places. You just got to get out there and look around and see. Yeah, Crop Express, they are a handful for sure. What's up, Bill? Thanks for being here, man. Amia says the Bobby Garland 2-inch white grub with chartreuse tail. Yep, can't beat that. Cannot beat that, Amia. And so like I know a lot of the talk about the creek stuff is a lot of people, I'd say majority of people wait till Thanksgiving to get serious with it. But man, there's been some years when like that first week of November has just been the best week or two. The first half of November has been the best of the whole winter, and that's just this year it hasn't happened. I'm trying to think. Did last year it happen? I don't even remember last year. I have no idea what I did last year. But so November 1st is when I start looking. And sometimes I find them right away and sometimes it takes me a little longer. This year, because of that rain, it's just taking a little longer, but it will get good and they will get in there. And as soon as they get in there and they're biting, I'll be there looking for them, putting some videos out for you guys. Bombella, you fishing small creeks or bigger creeks typically? That's a good question, Bombella. Typically, I actually fish both. Excuse me, both. So it depends on bigger creeks fish differently than smaller creeks. So typically smaller creeks for me here in North Texas, they're a little shallower, and those bigger creeks are a little deeper. And so shallower creeks, the fish are gonna be shallower, especially if that water's muddy, and vice versa in the bigger creeks. Mark Williams, thanks for being here, man. Hope all is well down that way. Yeah, 40, 50 foot in your yard, that's a long way up the bank right there, Chuck. That's I know our lakes here, man, sometimes they get 20 plus foot high sometimes in the spring when we get a lot of rain, like back to back and bunched up and everything. But yeah, that's a lot of rain out there. I'm glad y'all made it through all right. Hopefully that's the last hurricane out there, Chuck, because we're getting pretty far into I'd consider right now a winter, early winter for us. What about dock fishing during the winter? So Bombella, dock fishing can be really good, like floating docks, like marinas. I don't dock shoot a lot in the winter as far as like the fixed docks, like on Cedar Creek and Palestine. I don't do a lot of that in the winter. I typically, if I'm going to dock shoot, I'm going to try and find some floating docks, typically. Larry Heron, thanks for being here. Fish are starting to pick up a little bit here in Alabama. Nice. Glad to hear. Crop Express, what would you say depth-wise is a deep creek here in North Texas? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'd say anything 10 foot or deeper. 10 foot is typically, I'd say anything. I mean, there's some creeks here that are, 25 foot deep, 25 foot deep. But I would consider anything over 10 foot deep. And anything shallower than 10, I would consider shallow. Yeah, for sure, Chuck. Glad to hear you're doing good as you can. Bombella, morning is the best time. That's another good question. So me personally, I don't really pay much attention to the time of day. The only thing I like about morning is I like to get up super early and get out to the creeks before people show up. But to be honest, I really don't think there's a best time to go to the creek. I do like cloudy days for creek fishing more than sunny days, just because those fish will roam a little bit more, and you can jig and bobber and get a little further from the brush and have them come out and bite, versus sunny days where they're like pushed down into the brush. But outside of that, whenever you get a chance, then that's definitely when I would go. I mean, it doesn't matter. Those fish are still biting somewhere in there. Thomas Scott, thanks for being here. Would you single or double rig in the creeks? So that's a good question too. Lots of good questions today. That depends on what I'm fishing, Thomas. If I'm fishing open water, I'll double jig. But if I'm fishing brush or stumps or something like that, I'll single jig fish. Just in general, kind of the more stuff I can hang up on, the less jigs I'm gonna use. So not many of those, says Crappie Express. Most I would say are shallower than that with lake levels. Yeah, and that's the thing. So Crappie Express is right. Right now, there's not many creeks with 10 foot plus water right now. I mean, there's a handful, and I'm talking creeks. I mean, there's some rivers coming off of some of these lakes, especially out west, that will have some deeper water than that right now. But creek wise, 10 foot's doing pretty good right now, I would say. But yeah, thanks again everyone for being here. So, I actually went out to the creeks last week and I checked 6 of them. 6 creeks. And I think I caught 1 sand bass and 1 dink crappie. That was it. And the reason for that, there was some creeks had enough water in them and they were muddy. Some of them they were pretty much cut off. Some of them I could see the bottom. It was just, I mean, it's just the creeks themselves vary so much. Excuse me, they vary so much that that's why I hit so many creeks in a single time, because just because one creek's not doing good doesn't mean the other's not around the corner, or across town or whatever. So those creeks, man, they just, it's all condition sensitive, I guess you can say. The conditions have to be right for these fish to be in these creeks and to be biting. Andy Chase, thanks for being here, man. Do bluegills go in the creeks in the winter as well? That's a good question, man. I honestly, when I've been in the creeks, I don't remember catching a lot of bluegills. I don't really remember catching any bluegills. Not to say there aren't some in the creeks, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really targeted them or really caught many that I could say that they go in the creeks like the crappie do. I have caught some in the winter on docks before, so like marinas and floating docks and stuff like that. So, so I went to those 6 creeks. Some were, most of them were pretty muddy. I'd consider them chocolate milk. Like looks like coffee. If you like a lot of creamer in your coffee, that's what it looked like. It looked like coffee. And typically I just don't do good with that kind of conditions, and so I fished, caught one little one, caught a little sand bass, checked some other ones. But I have to go look at these creeks, even though I know they're not going to be productive. I have to go look to see what that water color is, see how the water level is, if it's flowing still, and all that tells me how long I have to wait. And based on what I saw last week and the rain continuing, it's going to be at least another week for those fish to really get going in those creeks. And I want to say too, so you're gonna start. It's that time of year. You're gonna start seeing videos pop up of creeks, crappie on the creeks, and post on Facebook, post here and there, and it's kind of misleading in a way. The thing is there's really always crappie in the creeks to some extent. Now, when I consider crappie in the creeks is when the big pushes of fish come through, and they go up in the creeks in big schools and big numbers, and that's when I really consider the run started. But there are crappie in the creeks regardless, year round. So, and that's just I don't want, like, some will say, oh, the crappie are in the creeks, they're on fire, this and that. That's not necessarily the truth. Everywhere's different. If one creek's right now, there's crappie in every creek. But would I say the crappie are biting in every creek? No. The creeks just aren't. Some are too muddy. Some are too shallow. But that will change. It just has to. We have to give this rain time to stop. So, Thomas Scott, do you prefer using braid or mono? So Thomas, I hate braid. I really don't like braid. I use mono, Mr. Crappie High Vis mono, and that lime green, and 6 pound, 4 and 6 pound. I'll go to 4 pound in the spring, a little more, but 6 pound for the most part mono. Thomas, Raul Mendez says I went to 4 creeks in the last 2 weeks. It's hard. I only catch 12 crappies. Yep, it's not easy right now. Eduardo Benitez, thanks for being here, man. I was out at the creek last week and caught some good sized bluegills and slab crappie out in East Texas. Was fishing around structure with an underspin stinger shad. Nice. Andy Chase, do you think the lake is officially done turning over? Yeah, Andy. So I'm 99.9% sure all these lakes around here have completely turned over, and they're pretty much in winter mode at this point, I would think. Andy, for me, it seems like mid-October, that first initial cool down to where it's like I would consider it cool. That's when these lakes flip, and once it starts getting cold and staying cold, then it'll flip all the way and stay that way. So I would definitely think they're all turned over right now, Andy. That's a good question. And I think that's part of why I'm thinking these. So it's a combination, the lake's turned over, the fish, the water's getting colder and colder, and that's why I think a lot of my fish that I've been catching are moving. They, and then the days are getting shorter too, crappie. I think crappie are more in tune with nature than most realize, they know the days are getting shorter. They don't have a clock that turns, but they know the days are getting shorter. And it's vice versa in the spring too. Hey Blanca, thanks for being here. Vice versa in the spring, when those days get longer and longer, they know that spring's coming, summer's coming, and they know that it's about to start warming up. And yeah, so but yeah, everyone, I don't like to be too pushy on here or anything like that, but if y'all, super chat's always there if y'all would like to donate to the channel. Cash App as well. My wife will put that in there. She's not too busy, but I don't like to say give me money, give me money, give me money. But that's always an option if you feel like you want to. I'm always appreciative. Yak Abe, thanks for being here. So I don't like to be too much on that. I like to talk crappie. That's why I do this channel. That's why I do this. Crappie is just what I love to do. I really do. So that's always, yeah, Raul, thanks, man. Yeah, if y'all could hit that like button too, just that like button, you know, just you being here, I'm appreciative. That like button, share this video and share the channel if you know anyone that likes crappie fishing. That's really, you know, all I can ask for. I really appreciate everyone being here. And yeah. Okay, my wife put the Cash App in there if y'all are interested. But yeah, so like I said, those creeks, they just been tough. I'm gonna try my best to get out there and find some creek fish. It's gonna take some time. Every year is different. Every year is different set of circumstances. A1, thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well. And you know, just depends. It varies. But the weather's cold now. That's the key. It's finally cold, and those fish they're in there. I know they're in there. It's just too muddy. It rained pretty good today too. I was hoping we kind of get by without getting a bunch of rain, but it rained enough that I think it definitely didn't help. A1, man, ours was pretty good. How about you? How about you and your family? Did y'all have a good weekend as well? Oh, glad to hear, A1. Andy, do you prefer to jig and bobber in the creeks or use a 10-foot rod and jig brush and timber? Andy, man, so that's a good question too. There's lots of good questions tonight. I really appreciate everyone, you know, bringing their A-game questions today. Andy, so I prefer jig and bobber 10 times over vertical fishing with a jig, you know, the jig. I say it sometimes in my videos that for me vertical fishing gets boring. You know, I fish in a boat. I'm fortunate to have a boat, kayak, where I can vertical fish a lot, you know, so I'm vertical fishing all summer long, and y'all know here in Texas the summers are long. So from roughly April all the way, once I get done dock shooting in April, usually like, you know, late April, early May, I'm vertical fishing in the boat all the way till about right now, till about, you know, early November, mid-November, when my fish start leaving. So I get tired of that, you know. That's, you know, what are we talking, 5-6 months? So I prefer jig and bobber 10 times over. And I love jig and bobber because, you know, if you cast all the way across the creek and you get a bite, you get to fight that crappie all the way back. You get to fight the crappie horizontal as opposed to straight up and down. And that's why I like dock shooting too, because, you know, you shoot that jig under that dock and that fish bites it way in the back of that dock. You get to pull that fish all the way out of that dock. And so I really prefer jig and bobber. If I can get away with it, jig and bobber is what I prefer. But there's times when I have to vertical fish, you know, if the brush is real thick or something like that. But Andy, man, thank you so much for that donation, man. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it, Andy. Just know that goes right back into the channel. And it goes right back into putting more content out there for you guys. I really appreciate that, Andy. Crappie Express, sounds like a trip to East Texas is needed. Those guys, yeah, man. So East Texas is, it's just better fishing out there. I mean, it just is. Those lakes are more fertile. They don't have all the city, you know. I'm not real big in like conspiracy theories or anything like that, but I definitely think there is something to our city and affecting these fish. There's one creek in particular that I'm not going to name, but back in like, this is probably 5-6 years ago, about this time I could go in there and actually checked it, and I didn't get a single bite in it last week. But so this creek, 5-6 years ago, I used to go in there this time of year, like November, early mid-November, and I'd go in there and catch 40 fish easy, you know. And a lot of times they were smaller, but I could go in there and catch as many as I wanted for the most part. And what happened is, since that time, around that creek, there's been development. There's stores, there's like houses, there's like apartments, all that around it. And now I go there, and this has been the case for the last 3 or 4 years now, it seems. Excuse me, but those fish just don't go in there anymore. I mean, it might be a coincidence, But I definitely feel like, I don't know if it's something to do with runoff coming in that creek or something, but those fish just don't go there no more. It blows my mind how those fish don't go in there no more. And that's why I say out in East Texas, that water's fertile. There's a lot more fish, a lot better bait. The docks hold insects, and those shad have more to eat. It's just the whole cycle is just better out that way. Yak Abe, this cold is no joke. Hit me like a train. Yeah, it's cold. It's going to take us a while to adjust for sure, Abe. Crop Express, hard to use a long jig rod in the creeks. Some would say impossible. I would not try. Yeah, it's really, it's hard to use a long jig rod in the creek. It just really depends, what kind of fishing you're doing. But yeah, I prefer a jig and bobber 10 times over. A1, it's so cold makes it hard to fish on a bank fisherman. Oh yeah, man, I hear you. I hear you on that. Raul, I still losing fish when I do a jig and bobber. Any advice? Raul, yeah, man. So if y'all see me in the videos, like when I set the hook, and I'm using mono, so that mono is gonna stretch a little bit too. If I'm got a jig and bobber fish that bites way across the creek, I'm really ripping into them. Like I'm setting the hook really hard, like a bass fisherman. That combined with using a sickle hook, Raul. If you're using a sickle hook and you set that hook hard, you should hook those fish every time, Raul, and keep them pinned. But it's just key, key to really set that hook and really drive that hook into those fish's mouth. Yak A, we have to all get the DFW anglers to shoot one big video. Yeah, I'd like that, man. I'd like that. Fredo, kid, something I've noticed in the past 3 months, I've caught most of my crappie pitching out to them, especially on timber. Yeah, I've noticed that myself. Not so much recently, but definitely like October, pitching that jig past that timber and letting it fall past them, that was getting them to react. And I'm not sure why they get like that sometimes, Sometimes they just like it still, but sometimes that that swing of that jig coming across really gets their attention. Slapbuster, I'm glad it's getting cold myself. Better than humidity. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. That humidity and that heat is brutal. And jet fleas aren't out there. You got that right, man. That is a good thing about winter. Andy Chase, Tawakoni white bass are way bigger than Hubbard white bass. I just feel it's less pressured. I've never fished the creek, though. Yeah. And that's part of it too. Part of it too is, we live in a metroplex with I haven't checked recently, but 7+ million people live in our little area, 50, 60 square miles. 7+ million people. That's a lot of people. And all that pressure, people aren't going to drive. The average person's not going to drive from, let's say, they're not going to drive from Fort Worth all the way to Tawakoni. Let's say they're gonna go to Lake Worth or Eagle Mountain, maybe Bridgeport, something like that. They're going to try and stay close. And so, just logically speaking, everyone's going to try and stay closer to where they live, which they live in the Metroplex. Then all the Metroplex lakes get more pressure than those other lakes. Gary, thanks for being here. I've always messed up your name. I think it's Gary. Jerry, I forget, man. My brain's so bad these days. Sorry about that, buddy. South Carolina in the house, he says. Andy, you should use a 2-piece rod. If you're using a long rod in the creek, makes it way easier. Oh yeah, man, you gotta have a 2-piece if you're gonna drag it through the woods. Yeah, that's a must for sure. I really like 2-piece rods myself. I'm always, especially this time of year, I'll just throw something in the truck and can break it down if I need to. I really don't feel like I lose any sensitivity in that 2-piece rod. Stephen Hawken, hello all. Hope everyone's well. Thanks for being here, Stephen. I appreciate it. Slapbuster, I use sickle hooks 90% of the time. I like a thin wire hook too. Yep. That sickle hook, those sickle hooks, depending on which one you get, I think like the ones, I don't know if they make them anymore, but the Matsu, I think is what they were called. They're black nickel sickle hooks. Those were like a surgical needle. Like they're real sharp, and those, those are really good. And I think I'd seen something that they stopped making those back in the day, or like a year or two ago. But Yak Abe says he's got all the gear, cameras, and drones. Nice. Yeah, we're going to have to try and figure something out one day, man. Leonard Stevens, Leonard on from Buffalo, New York. Wow, thanks for being here, Leonard. I know y'all are more cold up there than we are here. Slab. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you, a buddy of mine took a trip to Lake Fork last week. Fished with Dan Langston in 2 days, caught 35 crappie, 2 pounds or better. It's funny you mentioned that, man. Sorry, I'm having trouble with. Let me take a drink of water real quick. Get to talking and forget to take a drink of water. Yeah, Slab. So I actually just saw that like an hour or two ago. Yeah, that all those fish they caught were big, man, and I saw that. Yeah, Slab, man, Fork puts them out, man. It puts them out, and it's pretty impressive, really, because if you know Lake Fork is pressured, man. That's just in general, Lake Fork is the most pressured lake around here, and it just constantly puts fish out. Slab says I can send you pics. Excuse me, of the hogs he caught. Man, looked like they swallowed a baseball. Yeah, man, those fish have been feeding out there, and it depends. I mean, I'm gonna try my best. So I have a little bit of time right now. You know, the next couple months. So I'm gonna try my best to, I'm gonna try and get out the Fork. I know Slab will like that. I'm gonna try and get out the Fork at least once, and film some of that and fish and try and do that. I'm gonna try and do some different stuff. I'm gonna have to throw in some boat videos as much as I don't want to until the creeks get good. But I'm gonna try my best to keep it mixed up. Keep this and that. Some creek, some bank, kayak. I'm gonna try my best to mix it all up for you guys. But I'm gonna try to get out the Fork, Slab. I'm gonna try my best. The lake's like 7 foot low, so it's gonna be kind of sketchy, but that's where I'm gonna go. Yeah, Slab, I saw it, man. There's some monsters. I think that's the best. Fork fish is pretty good in the winter. If you're looking to go to Lake Fork and catch big fish, the winter and spring is when you're gonna do it. The spring, especially like early spring, February, March, that's when you're gonna catch your 3-pounders at Fork. Is that time of year? But you can catch some 3-pounders. There's actually a video from this guide over there that I've known for a long time, Jerry Hancock. He goes over there with his buddy, and they catch a big. I forget what I think it's Crappie Legends. I think it's called on YouTube, and they go out there and catch some fish in the winter. There's one I think they say is 295, 297 or something like that. Some big fish. Let's see. A1, what's the biggest size crappie get in a big lake? A1, man, that's a good question. It varies drastically. It depends on the lake, but I would say, man, I wouldn't doubt there's some 3.5, 4-pounders in some of these lakes around here. Fork, maybe a lesser known lake that doesn't get the pressure. 3.5, 4-pound crappie is definitely swimming out there somewhere. Hey, Tina Ladybug, thanks for being here. Uh-oh. Slab, man, as close as you are to Fork, I'd have to go. Man, it produces hog after hog like Grenada. Yep, it does. That's why I'm going to try to get out there. I don't have the chance to get out there very much. So, I'm going to try my best to get out that way. Pick a nice day, go out there and, hopefully make a good video for you guys. That's the goal, at least. Sorry, Raul. Little man's he loves phones. Like we get on our phone and he's just over there interested. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. A1. I know, especially back in the day, there's some big fish caught. I think just with time and pressure and all that a lot of G-Man says Lake Fork is French name, a meeting hitting a lot of stumps. Oh yeah. Yeah, Slab. I don't know. I think in those pictures from your buddy Slab, you see all the trees sticking up in the background. I've been over there a couple times, and the whole lake. I mean, from what I remember, the areas that we fished, it was trees as far as you could see, man. There's so many trees in that lake. I hear Pines is the same way. I haven't been over there myself, but I hear Pines is the same way. There was a lake that I went to earlier this year. I don't want to say which one, but out in the middle of nowhere, and it was just like so many pine trees in it. So many pine trees, and like it was sketchy. It was real scary to me. I didn't feel comfortable really running around over there. Luckily, I didn't have to, really. Thanks, Raul. Appreciate it, man. Slab, he told me what they all fished, depths, etc. Nice. Yeah. I mean, Fork's just got them. Fork's one of those deals, where it's kind of like Grenada's the same way too. Grenada has a ton of fish and big fish, but it also gets a lot of pressure. I love finding little hidden lakes or hidden spots or whatever that have big fish that aren't messed with. Because I remember when I went to Fork last year, I went to Fork last October, and I went out there and those fish were spooky. And I hear that so much, those fish are spooky, and you see them on live scope and they're spooky, but I hadn't seen it until I got to Fork. And I got to Fork and I got close to those fish left those stumps. I mean, I think that's because the pressure, they're adjusting to the pressure. They know, they hear a boat. And when I was out there, it was during the week. I was on vacation that week. It was during the week, and there was like 10 boats out there fishing those trees. Those fish get hammered. Slab, him and his wife flew out there. Yeah, I remember him saying that. Dan saying that. Railroad guy, thanks for being here, Jeff. Hope all is well. Crop Express, nothing like hitting a stump in your boat that you can't see, scares you at first and mad. Yeah, that's what I did at Palestine. I did that, and back in the spring at Palestine, I hit a stump pretty good and messed my prop up and had to get a new one, but that's just part of it. I wasn't going very fast either. So that stump I hit on Palestine, if I would have hit that going, 30, whew, probably knocked the lower unit off. So I told him I had a drove and stopped at my bucket list lake, Lake of the Pines. He said he's going back to hit Lake of the Pines. Yeah, he's gonna do. He'll love Pines too. It's funny, I haven't heard as much from Pines this year so far, Slab. I'm not sure what's. I think a lot of people are going to Fork. Fork's lower, and the lower the lake is, the less water they're in, so it makes it a little easier, I think, on Fork. Could be wrong, but that's my thinking process on that. I'm gonna get out to Lake of the Pines. I'm just got so many obligations, and I can't go too far. And Lake of the Pines is one of those ones where I'd have to go out there and camp or stay the night or something like that. And I'm gonna do it at some point. I don't know when, but that's my goal. I want to go up to Arkansas and hit some of those lakes up there with Paul catches them all. Just got some things I want to do, but right now I just can't do them. The more I grow, the more chance I'll be able to go do stuff like that. I really want to, and maybe one day I will be able to. And I just got to keep growing the channel, keep having help with from y'all, and keep everything moving forward. Steady growth is all I can ask for, and that's what I've had the last few years. And while it's not as much as some, it's plenty for me, because everyone here, it loves crappie fishing just like I do. Yeah, Fork is on fire. Yes, Slab. It's like, I haven't even looked. It's like 3.5 hour drive. Pines is from here. Fork is almost 2 hours. Leonard Stevens, we're still catching 11, 12-inch crappie in Buffalo. The cold, they love it. Nice. No, Catfish Grande, thanks for being here. Hugo, Grenada gets those couple of months where it's drawn so low. Some of the fishing pressure, if not all, is gone due to people not being able to get on the water. That's right, Hugo. I forgot about that. That helps it too. And another thing that I think helps Fork and Pines that most don't think about is that special rule. So I'd have to look, but I think it's December 1st through the end of February, I believe. On Fork and Pines, you have to keep the first 25 crappie you catch. Doesn't matter if they're this big or if they're 2 pounds or 3 pounds plus. You have to keep them all. You cannot throw a fish back. I mean, I know people do it, but you're not technically allowed to throw a fish back. So if you go out there and in an hour catch your limit, if they're all this big, you got to go home. And I think that helps, you know. I mean, you go out there, doesn't matter the size. It keeps the fish kind of thinned out a little bit. And you know, those big fish can't grow big if there's a ton of competition. So I think that's really also helps, Hugo. Thanks, Yak Abe. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thomas Scott, since you mentioned LiveScope, have you put in the updates everyone was going crazy over? Or did you keep what you had on your settings? So I actually have not updated mine at all, Thomas. I have kept it the same. I haven't had any issues with it. I have a blind spot right now that I'm trying to figure out what I need to do about it. But outside of that, I really haven't had any issues with it. Yeah, they drain it in the winter, Grenada. DJ Pizza, thanks for being here. He says, when you do the Pines trip, do Caddo Lake the next day. Yes, man, Caddo's one of the ones I want to get on too. That's why I want to go to like Lake Conway in Arkansas. Those lakes up there with those cypress trees and jig and bobber and those cypress trees, it just looks so fun to me. I cannot wait till I'm able to get up that way. A1, me and the wife planning a trip to Mississippi to do. Anyone know of a good lake there to catch crappie from the bank? That's a good question, A1. I would think in the spring, I'm not sure when you're planning on going, but in the spring you can wait around on Grenada and catch some fish from the bank. I want to fish Lake Washington. That's where I want to fish. Crappie Express, are you going to do any kayak fishing in the creeks? Yeah, I am. I'm not sure how much, but I know for a fact there's going to be some creeks that's going to be the only way you can get in them right now. So definitely planning on doing some of that too. Definitely planning on it. Well, yeah, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and start kind of wrapping things up little by little, but creeks are tough at the moment. They won't be forever. As soon as they're good, I'm going to be out there, and y'all know. Thanks for all the support, everyone. Cannot do it without you guys and gals. You know, just support the channel. You know, share it, like it, comment if you have any questions. All that engagement is very good. And yeah, you know, follow me on the social media pages if you haven't yet. I have them linked down in all my videos. That way, you know, if I get on some creek fish, I'll post it there first before I put the video out, before I have time to edit. And that way you'll know what's coming before it hits the channel. So that really is a good thing to check out. But yeah. Anyone have anything else before I jump off here? Raul says, good show, my friend. I see you in the water. Yes, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it, buddy. Go Mavs, by the way. I'm wearing my Maverick shirt. Don't play tonight, but go Mavs. Chuck Smith, enjoyed it. Stay safe. Got to run. Appreciate it, Chuck. You stay safe as well out that way. Thanks, Slab. Appreciate it. You too, buddy. Ernesto, thanks for being here, man. Go Mavs. Got that right. Keep the great videos. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You stay safe out that way, man. All right, everyone. I'm going to jump off here. Everyone be safe. No, Mavs, you're on diaper duty. I heard. Hey, I can pull the Maverick game up on my phone while I'm on diaper duty. I can multitask. Thanks for being here, Blanca. Thanks, Jeff. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live before Thanksgiving, but if I don't, have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe and enjoy, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it. You too, buddy. Thanks, Hugo. Thanks for being here. So, as always, everyone, y'all stay safe. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Y'all take it easy.